Marinette is missing, and it's not just a prank this time. Something sinister is lurking in Paris, and everyone who's supposed to protect her seems powerless. Who could have done this, and why would anyone want Ladybug gone forever? The messages started arriving at exactly midnight, each one dripping with a chilling promise. Find her, or she's lost. Adrien's phone buzzed first. He froze, staring at the screen as if it had burned him. It's her. Or at least, it's about her, he whispered. Others checked their phones, and horror spread like wildfire. Everyone had received the same cryptic text, the same haunting words that promised doom. No one knew if it was a prank, a trap, or something far worse. And the first rule of this twisted game, you don't walk away alive. Section 1. The city felt colder than usual, the streets eerily quiet, as if Paris itself was holding its breath. Adrien ran his fingers over the message again, hoping to see some clue he had missed. The screen glowed ominously in the dark. Marinette is trapped. One mistake, and she disappears forever. His heart raced, adrenaline mixing with fear and disbelief. Everyone gathered in Adrien's apartment, whispering urgently. Who would even want this? Someone asked, voice trembling. The idea of a normal prank seemed impossible now. Something about the way the words were phrased, the almost taunting tone, made it feel personal. Almost like whoever was behind this knew them all, knew Marinette, knew Adrien's every move. A chilling laugh echoed from somewhere above. This isn't funny anymore, shouted one of them, but the laughter only grew louder, bouncing off the walls, untraceable, untouchable. Panic started creeping in, lights flickered, shadows danced in unnatural ways, and the sense of being watched became unbearable. Adrien tried to keep his cool, clenching his fists. He had to be smart, he had to be quick. Marinette's life depended on it. But then, a new message appeared, this time not on their phones, but projected on the wall. Big red letters, dripping as if in blood. Who will find her first? Time is running out. Everyone froze, staring at the message, trying to comprehend the impossibility of it. But as fear tightened its grip, a strange energy seemed to fill the room. The air grew heavy, almost alive, pressing down on their chests. Adrien's gaze darted around the apartment. There was no one, yet every shadow seemed to twitch with intent. Then a door slammed somewhere. Was it the balcony, the bedroom? No one could tell. Panic surged, but they couldn't move, paralyzed by the growing dread. Adrien, what if it's already too late? Someone whispered, barely audible, but the words cut deeper than any scream could. Questions spiraled faster than their racing hearts. Where is she? Who could have done this? Why target Marinette specifically? And most importantly, would she even survive what was coming? Suddenly, Adrien noticed something on the floor. Tiny glittering shards of a strange violet powder, shimmering in the dim light. This isn't normal, he muttered. The others gathered closer, examining it nervously. None of them recognized it, none of them could explain it. But deep down, Adrien knew one thing. Wherever this powder came from, it meant the game had already begun. Whoever set this in motion wasn't playing, they were hunting. The atmosphere thickened, suffocating, and as Adrien bent closer to inspect the powder, the lights went out completely. Darkness swallowed the room, and a whisper slithered through the shadows. She's closer than you think. Or maybe she's already gone. Everyone froze, hearts pounding. Could Marinette really be already lost? The darkness pressed in from every corner, heavy and suffocating, as if the apartment itself had turned against them. Adrien's phone was useless now. The screen showed nothing but static, but the violet powder on the floor shimmered faintly, almost like it was pulsing with some strange life of its own. Stay close, he whispered, though his voice trembled. No one spoke after that. The fear was too raw, too immediate. Every creak of the floorboards, every shifting shadow made them jump, hearts hammering as adrenaline coursed through their veins. The air was thick with tension, thick enough to taste, and every second stretched painfully long. Their minds raced with possibilities, each darker than the last. Who could have orchestrated this? Was it someone from their school, someone who knew their schedules, their habits, their secrets, or was this something else, something beyond human understanding, waiting just behind the shadows, watching, deciding who would survive and who wouldn't? Adrien knelt down to inspect the powder again, brushing it gently with the tip of his fingers. It felt cold, almost alive, sending an icy chill straight to his bones. It's not just powder, he muttered, voice low. The others leaned closer, peering at it nervously, whispering theories that none of them dared say out loud. "Maybe it's a clue?" one of them ventured, though the words sounded hopeless in the oppressive silence. The room seemed to shrink around them, as if some invisible force was pushing them together, forcing them to confront the reality that Marinette's disappearance wasn't random. Whoever had done this had planned it meticulously, predicting every move they might make. Each shadow, each flicker of the lightless apartment seemed calculated to provoke panic, to erode their confidence, to weaken them. Suddenly, a sound, soft, almost imperceptible, like the dragging of fabric against the floor, echoed from the hallway. Every head snapped in that direction. "Did you hear that?" Adrien's whisper cracked with tension. No one answered. The air felt electric now, charged with fear and uncertainty. Another sound followed, a faint tapping, rhythmic and deliberate, coming closer. Their breaths hitched. Who or what was moving through their apartment? And why? Adrien's mind raced. It couldn't be an animal. No normal intruder would go to such lengths, so meticulously, to scare them before revealing whatever was coming next. Adrien clenched his fists, determination flaring up even as terror gripped him. "We have to find her. Marinette is still alive. I can feel it," he said, trying to convince not just the others but himself. The group moved cautiously, stepping over the strange powder as they advanced toward the hallway. The tapping grew louder, interspersed now with something almost like whispering, distant voices muttering words they couldn't quite understand. A sudden shiver ran down Adrien's spine as a voice cut through the silence in his own head. "Adrien, find me, before it's too late." He froze. Had Marinette just spoken, or was the darkness playing tricks on him? Then a flicker of light illuminated the far end of the hallway, revealing a shadowy figure. Everyone gasped. The figure was impossibly still, yet the tension in the air suggested it was aware of them, watching, analyzing. Adrien stepped forward cautiously, trying to make out who or what it was. As he drew closer, the figure seemed to blur, like it wasn't entirely real. A wave of panic washed over him. Could it be a hologram, another trick, or worse, was it Marinette herself trapped in some cruel, twisted illusion? The thought made his stomach churn. He remembered the messages, the warnings, the chilling promise that whoever lost disappeared forever. Another sound interrupted him, a loud crash from the living room, like furniture being overturned. Everyone spun around. Adrien barely had time to react before a screen flickered to life on the wall, displaying a single word in red: "Lost." His breath caught, the screen then changed, flashing images that were unmistakably of Marinette, at first alive, laughing in school corridors, and then fading, dissolving into black shadows. His chest tightened. It was as if someone was showing him what would happen if they failed. The stakes had just become terrifyingly real. The group exchanged frantic glances, every face pale, every eye wide with fear. A soft voice broke the heavy silence, but it wasn't one of their own. It was calm, cold, mocking that "She's closer than you think, yet farther than you'll ever reach unless you play the game." The words slithered into their minds, sinking deep, twisting fear into a sharper, more personal dread. Adrien turned sharply, trying to locate the source. There was nothing, no one, just the shadows and the eerie shimmer of the violet powder on the floor. He felt a surge of helpless rage. Someone had set this up, not just to scare them, but to toy with their minds, to push them to the brink, and whoever it was knew exactly how to break them. Then something even more shocking happened. The air seemed to distort, warping slightly as a figure appeared at the end of the hallway. Adrien's eyes widened in disbelief. It was Marinette, or something that looked exactly like her, but the way she stood was wrong. Her movements were stiff, mechanical, her eyes black, empty, like deep voids reflecting nothing but fear. The group froze, unable to move, hearts hammering. Was this really her, or had the darkness claimed her already, replacing her with this horrifying imitation? Adrien took a step forward, trembling, hoping, praying, even as the rational part of his mind screamed, "Do not approach." The figure tilted its head almost mockingly and whispered in a voice that sounded like Marinette, but wasn't entirely her own. "Adrien, find me, before the game ends." Then it vanished, dissolving into the shadows like smoke, leaving nothing but the lingering chill of dread. Silence fell again, heavier than before, as if the apartment itself was holding its breath, waiting for their next move. Everyone stared at each other, realizing the truth. This wasn't just a game, a prank, or even a trap. They were now part of something far bigger, something far darker. Marinette's life wasn't just at risk. Their sanity, their trust, even their ability to survive the night depended on unraveling the mystery that had already begun to consume them. Adrien's gaze fell on the glittering violet powder again. A realization hit him like a lightning bolt. Whoever orchestrated this wasn't just playing with them, they were using the powder as a tracker, a lure, and a weapon all at once. And if they followed it too far, too recklessly, would they end up like the shadow figure? Lost forever? He swallowed hard, voice tight but firm. We have to move. We have to follow the trail. But we need a plan. We can't just rush in blindly. The others nodded, fear and determination warring in their eyes. Step by step they advanced, the powder leading the way, the shadows shifting with every heartbeat, and then a sound that none of them expected. A low, guttural laugh echoing from somewhere above, the voice unmistakable in its cruelty. You think you can save her? How cute. How naive. Adrien's fists clenched, teeth gritted. We're not giving up. Not her, not ever. But even as he said it, a chilling thought slithered into his mind. What if the game had already chosen its first victim? And they hadn't even realized it yet. The powder led them to a door at the end of the hallway, one they were certain had never been there before. It was black, featureless, and exuded an unnatural heat, as if breathing. Adrien hesitated. Every instinct screamed to run, but every ounce of courage pulled him forward. He reached for the handle, heart hammering, and just as his fingers brushed it, the door swung open by itself, revealing a dark room filled with shadows so thick they seemed alive. And then a scream echoed from inside, bone-chilling, unmistakable. Marinette or something pretending to be her? Who or what was waiting in the darkness for them? Adrien's heart pounded like a drum in his chest as he stared into the black abyss of the room. The shadows inside seemed to twitch and writhe, moving on their own accord as if they had a life that didn't belong to the physical world. Each step closer made the darkness denser, pressing against them like a living thing, threatening to smother courage itself. Adrien could hear the faintest whisper, almost imperceptible at first, like someone breathing directly into his ear, saying words that weren't quite coherent but carried a weight that made the hair on the back of his neck stand on end. The others followed, terrified, stepping over the faint violet powder trail that continued to shimmer dimly like a broken heartbeat in the dark. It had become clear to everyone that this wasn't just a game, not a prank, not even a cruel joke. It was a meticulously orchestrated nightmare, tailored to destroy them piece by piece. Adrien swallowed hard, scanning the shadows. A faint light glimmered ahead, reflecting off something metallic. Was it a lock, a box, or worse, trap? The whispers grew louder, more insistent, twisting into recognizable words. She's here. You can't save her. You're too late. Every nerve in Adrien's body screamed at him to stop, to run, to flee, but every ounce of his resolve pulled him forward. Marinette's voice, her real voice, echoed faintly somewhere deep in the shadows, calling out to him, but was it her? Or another illusion, another trick designed to lure him into the clutches of whatever darkness was controlling this sinister game? The uncertainty was maddening, like being caught between two mirrors reflecting infinite fear. Suddenly, a sound behind them, a loud crash as if something enormous had fallen, made them all spin around. Adrien's eyes widened in disbelief. The violet powder on the floor wasn't static anymore. It was moving, creeping like a living thing toward the shadows, forming patterns almost like a map, or worse, a countdown. Adrien knelt to study it. It's leading us somewhere, he muttered, though every instinct screamed danger. The others leaned closer, panic-stricken, whispering questions nobody had answers for. Who had done this? How had someone gotten access to a power so terrifyingly precise? Could this really be connected to the dark web? And most importantly, could they trust any of it, or was every clue just another layer of deception? A sudden noise, a metallic clang, followed by what sounded like a gasp, echoed from the far corner of the room. Adrien turned just in time to see a shadow surge toward them, disappearing instantly behind the thick darkness. "It's moving!" someone shouted. The others froze. Their footsteps echoed on the floor, even though they hadn't moved. Adrien swallowed, trying to steady his voice. "It's a trap. But we can't stop now. Marinette is counting on us." Each step toward the shadows felt heavier, like they were wading through water, resisting some invisible force, and then a voice that was unmistakable, chillingly close, whispered, "Adrien, Adrien, find her before it's too late." Adrien spun, searching, but no one was there. The whispers intensified, overlapping now, some in Marinette's voice, some in a tone that was darker, mocking, malevolent. It was almost as if the darkness had become sentient, testing their fear, probing their weaknesses. Adrien clenched his fists. "We can't be fooled by illusions. We have to find her. Reel her before it's too late," he shouted. The others nodded, fear mingling with determination. But even as they pressed forward, the shadows themselves seemed to shift, forming shapes that resembled the people they knew. Friends, classmates, even family, but twisted, distorted, with empty eyes that glowed faintly. Every corner they turned, every step they took, the air grew colder, heavier, almost alive. Then, a faint glimmer of violet light appeared in the distance, flickering like a dying flame. Adrien rushed forward, heart in his throat. The powder trail led straight to a coffin-like structure in the middle of the room, black, featureless, and exuding a sense of danger that made their stomachs knot. Adrien's pulse thundered in his ears. Could it really be her, Marinette, or was this another trick designed to crush their hope? He approached cautiously, hand trembling as he reached out. The air seemed to thrum with energy, vibrating like it was alive, and as his fingers brushed the cold metallic surface, a whisper hissed from inside the coffin. "I'm waiting for you." The group froze. Everyone's breath caught. Adrien took a deep breath and opened the coffin slowly, dreading what he might find. And then, nothing. Empty, not a trace of Marinette. Panic surged. Where had she gone? Was she already lost to the darkness? Had the game claimed its first victim before they even realized it? Adrien slammed the coffin shut, desperate for any clue, any sign. The violet powder shifted again, forming a new pattern, this time spelling out a single, terrifying word. Alive? Adrien's stomach twisted. Alive or a trap? Could the darkness itself have recreated Marinette? Was she being held somewhere else entirely, or had the shadows already claimed her mind, her will? The thought made Adrien's fist tighten until his knuckles turned white. His mind raced through every possibility. Was the shadow figure they had seen before a hologram, an illusion, or some corrupted version of Marinette? Could they even trust what their eyes were telling them? Every sense screamed danger, every instinct screamed to run, but every shred of courage pulled him forward. He had to keep moving. He had to find her. Suddenly, the room shifted, shadows flickered violently, forming a hallway that hadn't been there before. The powder trail stretched down this new corridor, pulsing like a heartbeat. Adrien's heart mirrored it, every beat synchronized with the sinister rhythm. He glanced at the others, fear and determination mixed on their faces. Step by step, they followed the trail, each movement more tentative than the last. Every flicker of light, every whisper of air, every shadow seemed to be watching them, anticipating their every move. Then the worst happened. A laugh, a cruel, almost giddy laugh, erupted from the shadows, echoing through the corridor. Adrien froze. It was familiar. Too familiar. "No, it can't be," he whispered. The others exchanged panicked glances. Someone or something was ahead of them, leading them deeper into the maze of darkness. Every nerve in Adrien's body screamed that danger was immediate, that any misstep could cost them everything, and then the whisper returned, closer, almost in his ear. "You'll never find her. Not alive. Not without paying the price." Adrien's chest tightened, his mind spinning. The powder, the shadows, the whispers, they weren't just warnings, they were part of a plan, a twisted game designed to break them before they could even reach Marinette. And then, at the far end of the corridor, a faint light pulsed. Adrien rushed toward it, and there she was. Or at least, someone who looked exactly like her. But her eyes, they were black, empty, reflecting nothing but fear and despair. Adrien's voice trembled. "Marinette, is that really you?" A whisper answered him, cold, mocking, impossibly familiar. Adrien, this is only the beginning. And then the lights went out completely, plunging them into absolute darkness. Who or what was controlling the shadows, and could Marinette truly survive the nightmare that had already begun to consume them all? The darkness was suffocating now, heavier than anything Adrien had ever felt. Every step they took down the endless corridor of shadows was like walking through a nightmare that refused to let them wake. Adrien's pulse raced, and the violet powder shimmered faintly beneath their feet, leading them forward like a sinister breadcrumb trail. The figure they had seen before, the one that looked like Marinette with black, empty eyes, stood at the end of the hallway, barely visible in the faint flicker of ghostly light. Adrien's throat tightened. Every instinct screamed danger, but he couldn't stop now. Marinette's life, her very existence, depended on him. He clenched his fists and whispered almost to himself, "I'll get you out of here, no matter what." As they approached, the figure began to move slowly, deliberately, like a puppet on invisible strings. Adrien noticed something alarming. Her movements weren't natural. Every gesture, every step was just slightly off, just enough to unsettle him. Could this really be Marinette, or had the darkness created a perfect imitation? Adrien's heart pounded so hard it hurt, fear clawing at his chest, but determination pushed him onward. The others followed, hesitant, voices tight with tension. "Adrien, be careful," one whispered, but the shadow swallowed their words immediately. Then, without warning, the figure spoke. Her voice was Marinette's, but layered with a mocking, almost demonic undertone. "Adrien, you think you can save me? How cute." Adrien froze, trying to make sense of it. "Marinette, it's me, Adrien, fight it." The figure tilted her head slowly, her black eyes glinting in the dim light. The whispers returned, multiplying now, echoing from all sides, some in Marinette's voice, some in cruel laughter. "She's yours. She isn't. She's gone. She's alive." The group exchanged panicked glances, realizing that the darkness was manipulating their perceptions, feeding on their fear, on their desperation. Adrien clenched his fists, refusing to give in to the overwhelming dread. He couldn't. Marinette's life and her mind depended on his courage. Suddenly, a sharp metallic clang rang through the corridor, and the floor beneath them trembled. The figure began to flicker, her form momentarily dissolving into shadows before snapping back into the humanoid shape they had been chasing. Adrien noticed for the first time a faint glow emanating from the violet powder surrounding her feet, pulsing like a heartbeat. He understood instantly. The powder wasn't just a trail, it was a conduit, a tether connecting her to this darkness. Whoever or whatever was behind this had trapped her using some twisted technological sorcery. His mind raced. How could they sever the connection? How could they free her before the shadows consumed her completely? Then, a door suddenly materialized in the hallway, massive and black, with strange symbols etched across its surface. Adrien felt a surge of dread. It wasn't just a door, it was a barrier, a cage, and judging by the intensity of the shadows swirling around it, Marinette was on the other side. Adrien moved closer cautiously, hand trembling as he reached for the handle. As his fingers brushed it, a whisper hissed, "You have one chance at fail, and she's mine forever." The words chilled him to the bone. His eyes darted to the others. "We can't let her stay in there. Whatever it takes, we're getting her out." They nodded, fear mingling with determination, hearts pounding in unison. The door swung open, revealing a room filled with darkness so dense it was almost tangible. The figure stood in the center, and Adrien finally saw her clearly. It was her, but not her. Marinette's familiar features were visible, yet her eyes remained black, cold, empty. Adrien stepped forward. "Marinette, please, fight it! I'm here!" She raised her hand slowly, and the shadows around her seemed to writhe and surge forward, defensive, almost alive. Adrien's pulse quickened. Every instinct screamed danger, yet he forced himself to focus. "I know you're in there. Marinette, you're stronger than this." For a moment, silence. Then, a faint shimmer broke through her eyes. A tiny spark of blue, the real Marinette, flickered beneath the black void. Adrien felt a surge of hope. He reached out, placing his hand over hers. "I've got you. I'm not letting go." The shadows shrieked, twisting violently, trying to separate them, but Adrien's determination burned brighter. Step by step, inch by inch, he held on, repeating her name like a lifeline. "Marinette, you're not alone. Not while I'm here." Slowly, the blackness in her eyes began to retreat, replaced by the familiar blue he knew so well. The shadows, sensing their hold weakening, thrashed violently. The room shook, a storm of darkness threatening to collapse everything around them. Adrien stumbled but held fast, refusing to release her hand. The others joined in, guiding him, forming a human chain of courage and defiance. The violet powder flared brightly, almost blinding before dissolving into nothing. The shadows screamed one last time, then vanished, leaving the corridor empty, silent, eerily calm. Marinette collapsed into Adrien's arms, trembling, weak but alive. Adrien held her tight, whispering over and over, "You're safe. You're safe now." Tears streamed down her face as she clung to him. "Adrien, I thought I was gone." Adrien shook his head, brushing her hair back. "Never. Not while I'm here. You're my ladybug, and I'm not letting anyone or anything take you away." The others gathered around, relief washing over them like a tidal wave. They had survived the darkness, broken through the illusions, and saved Marinette. But the air still felt heavy, charged with the remnants of the malevolent force they had faced. Someone had orchestrated this. Someone had nearly destroyed them all. Adrien's eyes narrowed. Whoever it was, they hadn't finished yet. Marinette looked at Adrien, eyes filled with gratitude and exhaustion. "Adrien, I thank you for not giving up on me." Adrien smiled faintly, brushing his thumb across her cheek. "I'll never give up on you. Never. You're my ladybug, and nothing, not even the darkness itself, can change that." The others gathered closer, sharing quiet relief and laughter, though the memory of the terror lingered in their minds like a shadow that wouldn't fade. But in that moment, the city outside seemed brighter, lighter, almost as if Paris itself had breathed a sigh of relief. And yet, as they stepped back into the hallway, Adrien's eyes caught a faint shimmer in the corner of the room. The violet powder, a single speck, alone, pulsing, waiting. He froze, heart hammering. Could it really be over? Or was this just the beginning of another nightmare? The city may have seemed safe, but someone out there was still watching. Someone who knew fear, someone who knew obsession, someone who would not rest until the game had begun again. And Adrien knew, deep down, this story was far from finished.